Hello, Alexis. And we're here again.
Hey Stefano, how you doing?
It's good. It's good. So let's start this episode six. And we got so much to cover. So let's jump in. So, okay, for this episode six, I picked one dialogue from Jack Hogan. Jack Hogan is one of our like rock stars. As you can see here, this images come from his tweet when he presented his personal, like a homepage, like personal blog post that he made it entirely with fast HTML. And I remember this page, his work was featured in the lesson. And really, we cover up a lot. It's a really good started. I see a lot of people using this as a starting point. It's a really, really good. And again, thank you, Jack, for sharing this. This is awesome. And cool. What I'm presenting here, this is the top takeaway of his like dialogue. It's his approach to analysis or analyze a YouTube video would solve it. But not only look at the transcript, there's a bunch of dialogue that work only with transcript. This one is like, let me say the fancy word there, the clickbait. Is agentic looking at images. Is it you should think about like it's a solve it that describes the video on itself, grabbing the frames it thinks are
Hmm.
interesting. And so
Interesting.
it's really like a pretty advanced thing, and the way this is made is really it's a masterpiece dialogue. I suggest everyone to take a look at. So the top takeaways are like this core idea, the thing that he defined a few functions first to look at the transcript to say, okay, this is a transcript. These are like all the position of the words in with the time what they have been said. And he defined a tool, this grab frame tool, that is like centered on a given time in a window of defaults of 4 seconds and take 5 frames. So you sort of have the model in its own agentic way, deciding to aim at a specific point in time and grabbing a bunch of frame and inject them into the context to analyze and to use them. And once you have this setup made, you can
Hmm.
actually make and do the agentic, like, oh, 2025 was the a year of the agent. And so agent is just like a simple tool loop, as we see in the past. Everybody say this now. And it's actually the model that is decided to call the grab frame function multiple times according to what you read on the transcript and decide to look at the result and call again or call again until say, okay, I'm fine. I have all what I need. So with this idea in mind, there's a lot to cover
So
again.
let me just make sure I understand. So get video info is returning not just is returning the transcript information, which
Yeah.
has the timestamps, and
Yes.
then the AI can use that, or you can use that, and then grab frame tool takes an individual timestamp and returns a set of images around that timestamp.
Around that
So
time.
when you put that thing together, you have here's a discussion, here's an interesting point in the discussion as indexed by a timestamp. Okay,
Exactly.
now find images near that point in the dialogue, and then think about which images are good, you know.
Exactly. It's like the model is reading the transcript and is deciding that he want to see what is in the video. He's going to scrap the video at the specific point in time, like 10 second, 20 second, whatever.
Got
So
it. Okay.
that is like the agentic way is like the
Okay.
model
Got
is
it. Got it.
deciding to use tool and to look at the result of the tool. Okay, this is a high level idea. By the way, the video that he choose to analyze is like a video on Moon, this new kind of advanced optimizer that claim to be like twice as computationally efficient as Adam W. And in other words, like a faster and use less memory. So this is a big deal. I even take a look at the video a couple times, like to like I learn about this Muon thing, and it's interesting because I use my understanding sort of like a way to evaluate the quality of the summarization with images that is the output of this dialogue. And so, okay, let's jump to the code. We talk too much. Okay, as usual, I take the dialogue that I choose as interesting and make a copy and try to run them on my own. Try to rerun each cell one after the other. And this is the original like dialogue from Jack. And again, let's take a look at this. Oh, the first thing that I noticed is that in the last days, a few new button appear on the top.
It's true.
And one of these is interesting because it's like include dialogue, standard dialogue tools into the your dialogue. And this is interesting because I made this analysis before this tool, and in the past, I usually start with commenting the tool info, the call to tool info, because every time you call this tool info, it injects a new node cell with the definition of all the standard tools. And so in the future, you don't need anymore to like commenting out the things. And by the way, when you see yellow dots or yellow things, it means that's my injection to the original like dialogue happening. And okay, so the model has access to all these tools, and we are defining a few more. So, okay, this is the video of a reference. I even try to make this analysis on our own like episode, I think 2 or 3. We were talking about the Three Mermaid, but I realized that we don't have the chapters, and the system is
Hmm.
expecting to find chapters. And so, yeah, we will in the future. When we will add the chapters, we're gonna rerun this like dialogue with this
Sure.
additional thing. Okay, cool. So that's the video ID, and it's just loading a bunch of things. And actually, let's take a look at the thing at the first function. Like this is the get video info function, the one that we see before when the system is
Hmm.
grabbing only the metadata, and it's explicitly not downloading the video. It's not
Okay.
doing that. So just getting the metadata. Okay, this is an example of what the kind of metadata you have. And
Okay.
this is interesting functions. So the first one is a grab frame. This is grabbing a single frame. He was like a practicing with the thing.
Hmm.
And I added this test cell. I will make a dedicated
We
episode
should
about
talk
test
about
cell.
that later. Test cell's very handy, but yeah,
Exactly.
we don't want to get
But the
lost in
point
it.
is that I I didn't make this code. I was using the code of someone else, and I want to understand what we was doing. So I added this cell here. This is simply just trying to see what is grab frame temp giving you.
Right. So you're
And it's
executing the
simply,
code to see what it does, but in a way that doesn't distort the notebook environment. That's what test cell lets you do. It makes your little execution isolated to that cell.
yeah. Yeah, in the next one is going to be more clear, but
Sure.
get this idea. I was just trying to test the grab frame function without trying to avoid any kind of side effects on my testing. And moreover, the other side effect that I wanted to avoid is to inject a lot of things. And I think I learned from your episode that a good thing to do is like disabling this for the AI. This is a simple test for me to understand if the thing works. So AI do not have any solve it model itself do not have any mean in looking at this image now. Okay,
Hmm.
just testing the thing. Yeah, maybe in the future we'll have like automatic, like disabling this like you did in your
Yeah, so that's the toggling the visibility with the little
exactly.
eye
That's
icon.
like a
Yeah.
very solve specific thing, but it's kind of
Yeah.
very useful. Okay, so again, I even take a look at what is the video. So I put it down and I simply did the same thing. And yeah, you need to start a video to see the first frame, but I was actually trying to understand if this is really the frame at second 10.
Okay.
Because this is supposed to be the frame at second 10. Let me see if it works.
So tenth
Let's,
second, like just 10
yeah,
seconds
there we
in.
go.
Okay. Oh, it is. Okay, cool. So you looked at the video to verify that the frame grab pulled a frame from the...
Exactly. Exactly.
Understood.
I
Okay.
was testing this. It's like, is this really the second 10? So I just like injected it. Like, this is the good thing about Solve It. Whatever thing you need, you just, okay, I need an HTML thing to call this. Oh, just make an HTML cell and execute it. Okay. So there we go. And yeah, again, I was learning from this dialogue. So I put it down and I asked the system, yeah, can you explain me what's the meaning of these kind of thing here? Is it probably that these are like FFmpeg
We're
options?
almost 10 minutes in, by the way.
Yeah, oh yeah, need around. Okay, so the grab frame was for a single frame, and the grab frames is for multiple frames. And even in this case here, like the way you got thing is to have FFmpeg with a slightly different syntax because now you don't aim to a single frame, you aim to multiple one. And yeah, even here, I try to understand what's going on. Like this is a real use case for test cell because I am testing here now the grab frames, the multiple one. And to do this testing, I need some temporary variables that usually if you don't put them in a test cell, they will spread in the context of your like execution. Instead here, FF variable, E and F, they're
Mhm.
like not existent. And anyway, I add some labels. So this is the frame zero, this is the frame one. So I was trying to look at the thing. And the thing that I noticed is that I was expecting the frame number two. Remember, this is like an interval centered in a given thing and with like a wide and with the five frame by default. So the frame two should be identical to the frame that we simple get with a single frame because it's the
Right, because
same
the
one
center.
plus
Yep.
minus two and the way. What I noticed is that like probably we need to tinker a little bit because these two are not exactly the same, but given that you kind of like a shooting with a shotgun or frames around a given position, you always kind of get what you need. So these are the core functions. Once you have your core function, you build them into the tool. So you simply wrap this function into something that gives the model the understanding of how to call this function and how to properly return the values back in a way that can be used by the system. And so the grab frame tool is actually behind the scene, simply a grab frames. Okay, it's just simply calling grab frames, just a multiple one, not the single one.
Hmm.
And is simply wrapping this frame back into an image data URL. This function, this like private
Yep.
image to data URL, is simply something. Recall something you say the last episode that you can have an image embedded inside if you make it data
Yeah.
as an image source. So there is like these two responses actually. I actually find another little thing to correct that the actual to response from Lisette
Hmm.
is declaring this list. This is not valid type
Hmm.
a type hint. Probably the right type hint should be a list of dictionary of strings, so string
Hmm.
value pair. And so yeah, maybe yeah, we'll make a PR about this. But because what is happening here is that this is simply returning a list of
So
image URL type.
what's the
And
reason for wrapping it in tool response at all? I haven't seen that before.
uh, that's Lisette standard. And it's interesting. I think it's a really simpler wrapper of a dict. You're actually concatenating multiple images into a simple image nodes that the model can understand.
Okay.
Okay. So, and then you can concatenate them to make the final prompt.
Okay.
Okay. So that was what's happening. And again, always test the thing. I grab frame tool timestamp 10 4 5 frames and it's actually returning me this. So it seems to be correct. So things seems to be working properly. And once you have all of this, okay, you can really do the thing, do the agentic stuff. So this is the prompt from Jack and
Okay.
say, review the transcript above, use the grab frame tool to explore time step where visual content might be important, especially on transition chapter stuff and things. So he prompted the system and he
Hmm.
say, go. And this is a real agent because it's calling function. It's calling the function at given time frame, decided timestamp 40, then it decided again. It looked at the data and okay, good start. I've found some valuable stuff. And it's continue doing the SVD stuff and things. And at the end of the day, it prepares like a pre-baked version of this with the about the interesting timestamps for the interesting stuff in the video. It just
Hmm.
see the transcript and it decide to stop at 280 seconds for SCVD for this information and 360 seconds for this second information. It it's like it's incredible how the things
And
work.
and those numbers aren't exactly the same as the chapter
No,
timestamps. Those are
they aren't.
different. Okay. That's
Yeah, if you
interesting.
take a look, like some of those, look at this. These are kind of close and discussing the different things. Both in the quantity and in the place, they're different from the chapters. And yeah,
Hmm.
it's crazy. Okay, and it's like giving you a quick thing. And look at the final prompt he made. Using this transcript and the list of the key stamp that you just created, use add message, add MSG to create the following structure. So he wants the system to create new cell that
All right.
contains a given like information, little summary of this piece of the video. And then he wants the system to grab frame single one at a given timestamp to add a
Hmm.
visual that explain that stuff. And so it worked. This is the execution of the language model. And the real
That's quite a extensive tool loop there for Solve It.
yes, and it's a lot of token, I think.
habits. Yeah.
But and it's doing all the thing. And the other output that you don't see here, you see later, is that this cell has been created by the model itself, the add MSG. That standard tool that can add a new cell to the dialogue is happening. And so
Yeah.
like why move on? This is like one of the things that it's a part of the text that the thing started in the real video. And it's going on, and it decided to pick frames to show some of the things
Yeah,
it
and
was
well, that's what it
planning.
was asked to do. Yeah.
Exactly. And going on and on and on. Like the way when you do the matrices, when like a differentiation, it's it's incredible. You can take a video, you can transform this video into a
Hmm.
detailed blog post, cherry picking the best visual, the best frames. And it's like this is Manim again, like the pre-blue, warm brown
Yep.
library to so it's a really advanced visual that really worth really contain meanings inside them. So yeah, I think it's okay. Oh, we got 15, 16 minutes. I just 1 minute off.
Nice. This is
Okay.
quite impressive. Well,
So yeah, I
one thing I really like about this dialogue is how short it is. Like, there's not a lot of concepts, but it's doing a lot.
yes. It is a lot. And another topic for another like episode is that Solvit is a multi-purpose platform. You can use it for write code, so something that's reproducible, running multiple
Yeah.
times. To create library, you can use it to read books, like with the Eric Rice one. You can use it like to make a one-shot thing like this. You cannot rerun this dialogue. You need
Yeah.
really
So
to
what's interesting is here it's an
modify
example
it.
of Solvit being used. It's a creating custom tools and a tool loop, but then using it to create content actually as a like one-time
Exactly.
effort, and you could like do it again. Yeah, that's very cool. I'll have a look at that. All right. I think we're out of time though. So
Yeah, a
till
little bit.
next time.
Okay, cool. Bye.
Bye bye.